Hi, Sam from Teach the World to Trade. And this is a little video about fundamental analysis, which we covered in Identify a Trade, that workshop that we had, workshop number 2. So this is talking about drivers of markets, of what affects supply and demand. If you think back, if you recap to the module that we covered, we spoke about quantitative information, qualitative information, and factors that affect supply and demand. And we had a little chat about inflation, which is huge at the moment, because all economies essentially have these gauges where they measure themselves and how well they're doing and the health of their economy. We look at inflation. You don't want to have inflation too high. If you have inflation too high, interest rates have to go up. Unemployment, you want very low unemployment, around 4 or 5% is seemed to be the natural low of unemployment. There's always people in between jobs that affect the number, you see. And then GDP, you want a growing economy, right? That's your scorecard, whether you're doing well as an economy. All these things filter into all markets, really. US is the US is the biggest economy in the world, so the figures coming out from the States, they're looked at under a magnifier, and then have a knock on for all the assets in the world. We also have European data, UK data, Japanese data, Chinese data. Those are the kind of the big ones, the ones that move the markets the most, certainly the Western markets that we'll be looking at. And then a few cryptocurrencies. You have kind of big players, really, that move the market. You have tech voices like Elon Musk and those that have kind of heavily involved in the development of some of the big cryptos like Ethereum and Dogecoin and those sorts of things. You'll have influential people that will move the market, but still, even so, crypto is now moving more with traditional markets based on the monetary policy. So monetary policy is the effect of interest rates and the setting of interest rates, and they're set by central banks in each country. So that's a quick gloss over of economies and how they're run and how they're judged, but it comes with data. And all markets have their own data fees and their news. We call it the news as well. Fundamental analysis. I'm going to give you a quick 101 to how to find that. And, for me, it's one of the most interesting parts of the job, finding out about macroeconomics and global politics and the balance of power and even, super interesting. Well, I find it super interesting. I don't know if you will, but like planting seasons and the weather patterns of kind of sugarcane in Brazil or coffee beans in Vietnam. I find it all very fascinating. It's all essentially how the world's run, right? And it's been like that for thousands and thousands of years since we first started planting kind of wheat in the ground and many thousands of years ago. So I use TradingView, again, a great tool for your technical analysis, but the same for your news as well. There's two ways to look at the news here. So first of all, this is super helpful. We're going to super charts. So it really is an all-in-one for traders, this website. And just wait for it to load up. So if we look here at natural gas, for example, see these symbols at the bottom here. This lightning bolt here, you can click on that, brings up your headlines for natural gas. And you click on the last headline and it will tell you some fundamental information about natural gas that's moved the market. And it's reading through these pieces of information for each product, any product that interests you, that you see the drivers of supply and demand. So here it talks about trades increased. Let me see. I normally scan read these. This is important. The US became the world's largest liquefied natural gas exporter last year. So this is taking it from Qatar and Australia. So all three economies. So these are the three most important economies in natural gas. So I know now anything that happens to a US, Australian, or Qatari natural gas plant is going to send the price higher because it accounts for a huge amount of liquid natural gas for the world. LNG imports grew 3.5% in 2023. China, there we go. Look, China is the largest LNG importer for the second year since 2021. So I'd be looking at any demand data for natural gas coming out of China, because that will certainly affect the price. But all the time I'm reading through, I mean, look, I've been doing this for 20 years, but all the time I'm reading through the news, I'm looking, pulling out pieces, reading between the lines, I suppose it is, to find what will affect that market or something that I might need in the future to keep an eye on. Same for Brent crude. And you can toggle the news here on the right, the last news articles here. So I read this morning. Oil prices surged as a strong US summer demand boosted sentiment and the country's inflationary pressures showed signs of easing. So we had inflation data come out yesterday in the States, came out weaker, which is expansionary for the economy. Everyone assumes, rightly or wrongly, that if your economy is expanding, you're going to need more energy. If you need more energy, you're going to need more oil. So the price goes up, demand's going to go up. So this also talks about those consumer prices yesterday that came out, the figure, because then that's going to lead to a Federal Reserve rate cut, boost economic growth, help raise fuel demand. There you go. And that came from Reuters. So that's a news service. You have kind of a few main news services that this trading view pulls from. Reuters is one of them. Bloomberg is another one. Market News International is another one. And then Twitter, a lot of it comes from Twitter, or X as it's now known. So there we go. We can get good news from any of our charts. We've got to look for the little lightning rod. The lightning rod here. Okay, clicking on the lightning rod. So whatever market's interesting you, be it gold, FTSE, oil, click on the lightning rod, see why it's moving. You know, you'll get some good fundamental data to why it's moving. Okay, and this can then impact on you identifying a trade. If it's super bullish news and you're super bullish on your chart, you know, you should be looking to get long, executing a position to get you long. Okay, so that's one way, reading the news from the chart. So that's more, it's a mix of qualitative and quantitative. For the pure quantitative, you go to products, calendars, and then the economic calendar. So this is when figures coming out and the data comes out that we know is going to be coming out. We have an expectation. There's a big one today. That's why I'm kind of doing this, coming soon. You can hit it. Also gives you a calendar at the top for Monday to Friday. Generally, you don't have any economic news data coming out on the Saturday and Sunday. But today we've got core PPI. So that's an inflation measure as well in the States, PPI. So that's a big number. So all the market will be waiting for this to come out. The core one here, PPI month on month, it's expected, it's forecasted at 0.1. So we've got to see if that's going to come out stronger or weaker. If it comes out above 0.1, then the market's got to price that in. And I think the bond market will come off and the stock market will come off. If it comes in any lower, say at 0 or minus 0.1, then we're going to see a rally in the stocks and a rally in the bonds. That's what we're going to look for, and weakness in the dollar market. So this comes out at the same time for everyone. So it gives you a chance to get away those trades and get some opportunity. Okay, so fundamentals, supply and demand, a little bit of to get you started there. I'd say get used to using TradingView and getting the information off there before we start pushing your curiosity to find other sources. But like I said, X is a very good one. You can kind of search hashtags, like you search for hashtag FTSE or hashtag the Fed, hashtag the Bank of England, hashtag the natural gas, anything, and you'll get news on X about your chosen markets. Okay, so that's a little bit about fundamental information and how to get it. Okay, well, good luck. Stay lucky all. If you're about and you see this in time, watch this figure come in and see the markets move.